Welcome everybody to 48 Talk, episode number 104. I'm your host, Rage Bally as always. Joining me this time is Derek on the bottom left and Colin Johnson on the bottom right. Man, it's still hot over there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy here, man. It's like raining every day inside my shirt.
Yeah. Well, currently, as you can see on the top right, DX is currently in your neck of the woods, isn't it, Derek?
I was just with them about an hour ago. We went to see Theirs and Kakuyo Terra Architect at ABC Liquid Room. It was awesome. His first true underground idol show, although technically not really because ABC Liquid Room is really big, so there's not that necessarily kind of casualness to it, but also it is because the girls during Bupon, they were doing Bupon during the show because there was like 6 groups on the show. Kakuyo Terra Architect was just like walking around. They were trying to get fans. They were fishing. They never do that. So it's like they're small. They were the small girls on the show. So they were like really trying hard. And this like Italian dude came up to me and he was like, "Oh, excuse me, how do I get a checky?" So I had to run him through that whole process. He actually didn't want it with Kakuyo. He wanted it with another group called Shirezure, which means not secured loose ends. And so I went over to not secured loose ends and they were all very happy to see this guy. And then he left. He didn't get a checky. I'm like, why'd you ask me to do all that? But the cool thing was all the girls were there. Like Yamo Kamado, the one girl in Kakuyo, she was behind the merch table just hanging out. Kotetsu, the real tiny one, was just walking around trying to get people to do checkies. And then I spoke to their Bupon girl about like, you know, working with them in the future to do shows. So that was real cool. Like it was just, that was, so it's like the show was a little bit distant. Like it was like pro concert because Liquid Room stage is real huge. And it wasn't that packed in there. It was actually pretty empty versus you go up into the merch section. It was awesome. Like all the groups were there just kind of like, it was very personal. Like you could actually talk to them and not get a checky if you were a smart fan and did that. So it was cool. It was cool. You know, and then DX was like, his mind was blown. He just had this look on his face like, what's going on? During Theirs, they did a song from their old Bellheart girl days called Asthma, which is a big fan favorite. And during the middle part of that show of Asthma, the whole crowd, whatever crowd there is, gets in a big circle. They just start dancing in a circle. And I'm not really supposed to do this. I'm staff, but I figured, can I do something that's not necessarily me doing anything? So I cheated. I went in the middle of the circle and just sat down and meditated and just kind of just sat there and closed my eyes. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting. And everybody danced around me. DX got dragged into it. Somebody grabbed him and pulled him. And then all the girls on the stage saw me, and I could see them smiling. Everybody was looking, and I was like, okay. And then I just went back to my little corner. DX was like,
Well,
get that look.
You didn't do anything, you know, you were just sitting there. It just happened to go around you.
I just sat down. I just picked a very interesting spot to sit. So that was awesome because I've always wanted to do that for them at that particular point in that particular song, and I've never had the balls to do it. Oh, sorry. I mean, I've never had the cojones to do it. And tonight I was just like, you know what? I don't care because I'm not doing anything. I'm not participating. I literally just sat down and listened. And everybody danced around me, and it was so much fun. Everybody was all smiles, so mission accomplished.
Nice.
Trying to find little ways to sneak. Cool. Also, as a side note, I went and saw Kakuyo Terra Architect 2 days ago at Shibuya Garrett, which I was actually at the night before for Necro No Idol shows because they had 2 nights in a row there. And it was a Seitansai show for Yamo Kamado and Nonanamura, the 2 girls, the 2 of the 3 girls. And again, not participating. I can't, even though I want to. But I was up front because I want to see them. So I'm like off to the side though. I don't go in the like middle. I'm like off to the side. And Nonamura comes right in front of me and she puts her hand out. And so I was like, all right, why not? So I put my hand out and she punched my hand as hard as she could. And I was like, ah! And I'm like, what? So I just went back. I'm like, okay, I thought I was being all right. I'm getting involved without even wanting or trying to. So it was so funny. So I don't know. It was good times. I wish DX could have been there for that. But DX is good. He's fine. A little tired, I think. But he was in the zone. It was cool.
Cool.
So
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of posts already from him. He already went to the cafe, I saw. Had some nice lunch, he said. Still, it's a good thing that you take him there because currently we're now in the slump again with AKB48. It's they are very quiet with their activities, I would say. So we know that there have been a few new stages. Those are the usual stuff, you know, the shows, the AK Bingos, the AKB48 show. But nothing stands out, I would say. Nothing big's happening. Nothing major. It feels like a really quiet time. Even the showrooms are like just the usual. Nothing pops out. I'm like, oh, I need to watch this or I need to look at that. Even the new single
does happen on showroom.
Yeah.
I've seen it again today. Some 48 girls watch Produce 48. I saw Magu do it 2 times with Saki and Muriyama.
Yeah.
And some other girls, they just watch Produce 48 like live, and it's hilarious. Like Magu has great reactions. It's so much
fun.
She
goes really like
Yeah, it's amazing. Like that was amazing.
That's really awesome. I mean, you know, it's so sometimes we forget like idols are fans of idols, you know, and it's like it's even on that level. Like at the Shibuya Garrett show 2 nights ago, or the other night when Necroma was playing, there was the one girl from Hamida System, the one that actually, if I had a Oshi, she would be it. And she's just there in the back, just hanging out, chilling. And I'm just like, wow, like every show, like idols come, even on the AKB level. That's amazing, isn't it? Don't you guys think that's just like so cool? I get really excited when I hear that.
It's more like, I think, well, you've been doing this for so long, you still have interest in the work you do. So that's why, let's look at someone else, take a little break and see how others are doing it. I can see myself if I'm at work and I go to like another city or another country and there's a store there, I'll be like, oh, let's check it out. Even though it's like I've always been in the store, so I don't understand that feeling. But you know what? Let's talk a little bit then about Produce48, since that's the biggest thing that's happening currently. I would say that involves AKB48 on that much. So as of this recording, today will be episode number 6. So what do you guys think so far with the first 5 episodes? Because we had a cut, and now there's half of them have left. What do you think on that side?
With Produce, you mean?
Yeah, with Produce48. So we're not going to a full review because you can go to Patreon and submit there for the extra content. But we can give our opinions a little bit about the a recap from the last few episodes.
Go ahead, Colin. You go first.
I have been enjoying it. Like every episode, I enjoy it more. The first 2 episodes, it was just camp where they train, and at the end of episode 3 we saw the first 2 performances, and episode 4 was really those performances, and I really liked them. Episode 4 was amazing, like seeing all those groups finally do what they're supposed to do, and that's compete against each other. And I've been liking it. The girls are great. They're nice against each other, they're respectful, they help each other. I've seen nice camaraderie. I like the judges. They really seem like they really want to help them, no matter how low they are. I mean, one member who was an F, she eventually got in the top, was it 57, 58 or so, and she got through, and that's Chiba Eri. I mean, who figured? Like that's so great. Like I've seen an improvement with her, and the fact that she is getting through, spoilers, sorry, that's just, wow, there have been some interesting girls that got through, and I am curious where it goes. I'm enjoying it so far.
Didn't one of us say something about Chiba Eri's trajectory at Produce48 is mirroring a Korean girl from a past season?
I have seen that. Not necessarily in our comment section, but I have seen it on her when they did Bumbaya, like her, just her.
I think I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, I've seen it places, but I can't pinpoint which girl it was, or if we talked about it, or the comments. But I've seen it. I've seen a comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. So
what do you guys think about the distance when they're taping for the show? Because we saw then with the last week's episode, there's like a huge difference in their appearance, like lots of hair growing or color change or stylish. So do you think that has effect to the amount of time they record to the next part they record?
You mean the time they record the episode and that when it gets aired?
Well, it's more like the difference between episode 4 and 5 is like a jump of several months.
Ah, yeah. Now I remember, because the one Korean girl that got my interest, she ranked number 2, by the way. I got very good taste, apparently. I noticed in the she was in the group with Miyu. I forget her name. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. But Shiroma Miru, and she had long hair. And when she got in episode 5, her hair was very short. So yeah, I did notice that. The time that elapses between the recording of 4 and the recording of 5.
I think there's a month difference, because if every week you can vote, and they start up with episode 1, so there's maybe 1 month, a month and a half of a difference to that side, or even longer than that, to be honest.
I believe the girls left on the 17th again. I think I saw Mutotomu arriving there.
Yeah, they arrived on the 17th of July, I think, and
to do something again. It's possible. Yeah, I forgot how many episodes they have. Like, I want to say 12, but I'm not sure.
I think it's 11 till 12 episodes they're gonna do.
I wouldn't be surprised if they are recording episode 8, 9. You want to have some episodes in advance, because initially, up until episode 5, you had to 90 girls or so.
96.
96, and all their schedules, they had to fit with that recording, and now that they're reduced to 58, it's a bit less, or 57 I should say, because Jurina cannot participate anymore.
She's still in it though. They didn't actually kick her out yet.
Not yet, but maybe tonight's episode. And if it doesn't happen, that means that it recorded before Susenkyo, possibly. We'll see how that goes. I get back on that. I think episode 5 was recorded after Susenkyo.
Yes, after.
She did not appear.
Yeah.
So, it's possible the day after. I forgot what the time difference was between the day after Susenkyo and the time that
you need to think. The first episode was aired on the day before the Susenkyo. And then the episodes behind that are still on the same days on the notice, and it was compiled in like a few days into 4 episodes.
Right.
Yeah, so it could be like they filmed in May, and they aired it in June, and now the new airings happened at the beginning of July / middle of July.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but Derek, what are your thoughts on the Produce48 episodes?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, I'm very happy with how it's drawn me in and made me feel like, you know, I'm very much a part of what's going on, in the sense that, you know, how do I put it? I'm watching and I'm thinking all kinds of things, like every single scene. Like, oh, I don't like how they're treating the Japanese girls here. Oh, wait a minute, the Korean girls are doing a great job. Oh, wait a minute, you know, oh, they were treating the Japanese girls this way, but they fixed that. Like, it's a constant cycle in my head of trying to like the show, but I can't help but watch the show. As far as what's going on, that cut was pretty crazy. So many girls going home. It was sad, you know, to see. Some of these Korean girls, like they said, they don't have anything else to go home to. I don't necessarily believe that, but I think at the same time, I understand the desperation behind what they're saying. You know, they really want this to work. I'm really starting to like the Korean girls more and more and more. They're just big sweethearts, and they're also really incredibly devoted and talented, and they always bring their A game, and that is something AKB I think could always learn from. Anytime you're around somebody who's better at doing something than you are, better in terms of like maybe attitude or personality or even skill, you can learn. You know, but again, with this, it's like comparing apples to oranges, in the sense like they're good at dancing a Western style. Does that necessarily mean AKB is bad because they dance a specific Japanese style? And so that's where I'm constantly going back to this issue. So yes, these votes were done, but then look at the voting. Isn't it curious who got through? Like, a gigantic amount of AKB girls got through. So I was thinking, like, is Korea doing this to because it's most of the Korean fans, I think, voting. I could be wrong, but Are they saying, hey, we've had enough of Produce48 churning out the same looking girls, the same thing. Let's get some Japanese girls that are cute idols to be part of this. Let's see what happens. Maybe they're liking the weirdness of it, the difference, because this is unlike any other Produce48 they've done, if I'm not mistaken. So in that sense, it's very promising for the AKB girls that, yes, while they're constantly getting trashed on and saying, oh, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, the arc of going from not being good to being great is on display all the time, which is at like the core philosophy of AKB, taking girls that aren't idols and making them into idols. So in that sense, it's working. I don't necessarily know if you can judge them on that, but it is a competition. So half had to go or whatever. That was pretty brutal to watch. But they kind of glossed over it. You know, how long did they take to announce every single girl that survived? And then they had like what, all of 3 minutes to go over the sadness part at the end. So I was in a way, I was grateful for that. I was spared that sadness, but it was like, wow, like goodbye, girls. Like you're not important anymore. Let's focus on the 50s something that survived. So
they took breaks in their announcements of their own show, basically. So you have the normal commercial, and they have their own break segments, so that you can take a break of all the announcing. But it was like, if you compare, they should have watched the Sosenkyo, because the Sosenkyo is like, okay, here's 58 till whatever, and we go bum 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 bum. Here it was like, okay, number 57, 5 minutes later, number 56, and it's so on and so on. And you're like, oh, this is taking forever, and you know the Korean cut goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the exact same moment. And at one point to the sitting, I was like, oh, this is taking so long.
Yeah.
And then they're just taking breaks with, even though there were funny moments.
Yeah.
It was more like, just get on with it. Just don't make the show 2.5 hours. Don't make your slot like that if you don't have content to go further on.
The tone from this episode was very going places. It's like, yeah, then we have sadness because this girl got through or this one didn't, and then we have like a 10-minute segment or so with pranks. It's like it was weird. They could have, like you said, like only kept it to the announcements, and then we had like maybe an hour and a half episode instead of like 2.5, because this episode and episode number 4 were like 20 minutes longer. Like 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, indeed.
That's a bit long.
Well, I'm okay with the length as long as it's interesting. I don't know if necessarily going through 50-something people is interesting. Like, they could have really skipped over a lot of that and, like, just give us them and then kind of did, like, a summary of the best reactions. Like, I mean, we got to go through this how many more times? So it's like, yes, it's going to get less and less, but it's like, if we're already losing half of them now, we're going to lose, what, an even larger amount next time? Or, like, it's going to be another big cut. I mean, I don't necessarily care that much. I mean, I do care, but it's like, the girls are going. Like, let's focus on the girls that have the best chance of going through. They got to know that by now, who has the best chance, and kind of build us up with them, because that's going to create the emotional drama of the show, I think. Like, if for example, if you're just focusing on a girl that got cut, you know, the first round, that makes sense. But if you're focused on all those girls, that doesn't make any sense, because you're losing half of them. I'm not going to care anymore past this week. Versus, like, okay, like, pick maybe one girl you know is going to probably get cut, kind of focus on her, make us feel that emotionally. That makes sense. That's good TV. Not all of them. And then in the same time, what you do is you focus on like the 10 or 12 girls that you are fairly confident they're going to be at the end. Sakura-tan's not going to get cut. Let's be honest. It's going to come down to her and that one girl. I have a feeling it's going to get brutal. Chiba Eri, that was a surprise. But now she's got that momentum. Kojimako is in there. Like, but then you have a handful of Korean girls that when I look at them, I'm like, oh, they're definitely getting through. You know what I mean? Like they're like sure things. So it's like, focus on them. Because we're gonna get more and more attached to them as the cuts go. So when they all get cut, it's gonna be brutal. We're gonna be in so much pain, or it's gonna be very happy. You see my point? Like they got to be smarter about this, about the time they're utilizing. But that's a technical thing. I'm not running the show. They're doing the best they can. I'm sure they have a lot of people. I'm not complaining. I do wish they would stop with every time something's announced, they have 4 freaking reactions. I don't need to see it like over. It's getting annoying to the point of no return. But that's Korean television for you, and that's how they prefer to do it. So hey, whatever.
Well, luckily they're at the halfway point right now. So
yeah,
what you said was going to happen. They're going to be more focused on individuals.
What's really interesting about that, Takeuchi Miyu, she ranked 11. She barely gets any screen time. She ranks 11. You know who else is interesting? Miyazaki Miho. You know where she ranked?
Yeah,
21.
Right.
I can't remember, except maybe one scene where they paid attention to her. She got rank number 21. And that's just very interesting. they got through. Did you see a lot of her? Nope.
Well, compared to the other ones, I would say I can recall a lot of moments they were in there. But the performances of episode 3 and 4, those were the important ones, and those were the voters. Because if you look at the votes, a lot of voting has been done for 4 weeks. Just the number one who got votes are, I think, 3 times you would get in the Sosenkyo.
633,511.
Yeah.
That was the other really incredible thing when they started making those announcements, that just half those girls would technically have been well past the votes needed to become the Sosenkyo queen. You know what I mean? So that was interesting.
We do have to remind ourselves that voting was free, and for Sosenkyo you need to pay money to get a voting ticket.
Plus, you can vote every week.
True.
And
you can vote 12 times a day.
12 times a day for 4 weeks.
Or 12 girls for 24 hours, and then the next day. It's like that. If you think about that, I did some calculations. It's not that impressive. Because if you think about, like, let's say 2 weeks or 3 weeks, 12 girls a day, 225 votes for one person in 3 weeks, like 21 days. I think I did the math right. I'm reading it right here.
Okay.
If that's you know, when I voted for Sosenkyo, I had what was it? 18 physical CDs and then 12 votes from campaigns. It cost me a lot of money.
You can't compare it. That's the thing.
No.
This is a totally different system, and they used it before, and a lot of people actually watch in Korea the show. It's one of their top prominent shows. I think this is the 3rd season, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, it still is impressive numbers, but that's it, because they also have bonus points. They can add up to that. So you would think like, oh, it's very impressive, these numbers. But then if you lay it down where you're trying to do the math, it's okay. It's like the Sosenkyo is completely different.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's okay. Well then, yeah. Then I guess it's actually the Sosenkyo I think is more impressive then. So that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Yeah, because when you actually have to pay for a vote, that's a whole different story. It would make me wonder, like, how many, like, what would the Korean population do? Would they do that? I don't know about Korea's idea there. So if any of our fans have an idea about how Koreans would vote if it were paid, let us know. Like, if you have an informed opinion. I don't want to make an opinion because I don't know much about Korean culture in that sense. But if you do, like, let us know, because that is I'm curious, like. Would Koreans actually pay if they had to, pay every week to do this or something like that? I am very curious.
Yeah.
So first, what do you think of the girls that didn't make it this time?
There are some, like Ikumin. She was 59.
That hurt so much.
Barely got. She barely. She could have.
If she won the challenge, she would have been in.
Yeah.
That hurt.
I mean, I've been kind of thinking, like, because Jurina is not participating, now the number is 57. That's a very, very, very odd number. Why not, make 59, 58, and so Ikumin got through. Even if it was a Korean girl, I would have said the same thing, just for easy sake. Then you have 58. That's better to divide if you have some groups. But there are a lot that didn't got through. I want to say.
Oda Eri isn't in there.
Mogi Shinobu, Shinozaki Ayane.
Lots of HKT girls didn't make it.
Yeah.
Only Vivian, I would say, and Sakura, of course.
Nako
in there.
I saw the list like a week ago who got through and who didn't. Maybe I shouldn't.
NMB also a lot of left. You have only Yamada Noe from NGT in there.
Oh yeah, Renapon didn't get through either. Only Yamada Noe from NGT. Yeah, that's true.
And it's no, the ones that in Sosenkyo are successful. I think they have some backup with the Sosenkyo fans, pulling their weight in the Korea voting system, so that's why they're in there. But yeah, a few, I think half didn't make it, and half of them are in. And we'll see now what happens with the top.
Yeah, like I would say like what's her name from Team A? Ikumin?
Yeah.
It was shocking beyond all words that like a girl who I think can just dance like no tomorrow didn't even make it. And I thought like when the show started, I was like, oh, she's for sure gonna be, you know, at the end. But you know, getting the first cut, that was surprising to me. I am curious how that happened, as far as like, you know, I mean, I guess like you said, she didn't do well in the challenge or whatever, but I just can't believe like she would have got cut for that. Like, I mean, if people actually watched like her on like AK Bingo, for example, I mean, geez, you know, it's like, how are you gonna cut the girl that actually can dance like in this style? You know, so it's, but again, it goes to the idea, maybe they are wanting like these new girls, something different, because maybe that's exactly why she didn't necessarily get it, because she can already dance like a K girl. So maybe they want a girl who doesn't, in order to get a better sense of reward out of the journey that these girls from AKB are gonna have by the time they reach the end of this, you know. But then my question is, are they gonna end up dancing like that back in Japan, or are they gonna forget everything?
That's a very good question. I've been thinking about that as well. Will they take what they learned over there back to this? I remember from Goto Moe, like she can dance, she can sing, but her timing isn't all too well. And I noticed that in the Team A stage, because she did Itashisu no Axel from Takamina, and I remember it was they did a duo with someone else, I forgot. But I noticed that they were off because Goto Moe's timing wasn't right. With that said, I hope to see that she takes what she learned from there, and she's still in. She's doing very good. That she works a bit more on her timing. I would like to see that, because otherwise, if it would be a waste.
Hey, she got crowned the dancing queen of Produce48.
That's true. I got so happy. That was so amazing.
So she's shining on there, and I think we'll see a difference after the whole Produce48 is done. So there are. Basically, their secrecy, their lock, will be open as well. So maybe they can show, oh yeah, I learned this and this from so, because they don't want to spoil or they don't want to inform anything they learned on the show. So maybe there's also a different side on that. But yeah, I really hope them seeing the improvements they've learned, like what Sakura says, I'm learning this, or like what Saho has, like that she learns how to balance more on that side, because now she experienced center and she like, I wasn't ready to be center. She knows now why she is never a center in AKB48 before. I would like to see their improvements that they've been learning working with Produce48. To see their not too much Korean side, I would say, but just a little snippets here and there that were like, okay, now you can be improved, so that we have also a better group in the end.
Yeah, that they work on, how do you say it, to soften their edges or something like that, you know.
Sharpen their edges, I would say.
Sharpen their edges, haha. That's it. Like just those tiny little things to make it just a bit better. Like I would like to see that. We have some 21, 22 girls that got through, and even the girls that didn't go through. I found a list. Don't know if we want to.
No, it's okay.
Say, okay.
No.
The girls that didn't go through, hopefully they also learned a thing or two, you know, to further improve. If I can mention one small girl,
sure.
Mogi Shinobu. She didn't rank this year. She ranked last year, but not this year. Maybe, hopefully, with what she learned in the time she was there, she could improve. Like maybe, I can't imagine what she learned. Maybe like better singing, better timing, like more of the hip movement, like small things that could help her and maybe get, you know, a rank again next year. I mean, that would be great.
What I've learned from Mogi Shinobu in Produce48, and now I know why she hasn't ranked or in there. Very good character, but to see her as a top idol or a top performer, she's missing that talent, I would say. She has a few here and there of some good moments. She has a good prominent role in the theater, and I think she should be like a theater standard, that she's always there. but I don't see her rising or be, you know, what, in the main Senbatsu singles or be on TV style that. She's missing the character to enhance that. I think she's too quiet compared to what she should be on TV, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I would say, yes, there's definitely some truth to all that. But I also think, too, it's a matter of the camera finding the girls. And in AKB, we know the 20 girls or so that get the camera time. And it's, if you're not one of those 20 girls, you know, oh well. I mean, look at Mayoshi, you know, so funny, so interesting, easily does well in front of a camera, as shy as she is. Doesn't matter because the camera doesn't find her, so you're never going to know. And now, like, with shows like Otakake, like, gone, like HKT is suffering, I think, in that regard. Like, so many of their girls probably are not getting international exposure. At least a lot of people aren't becoming aware of their wonderful personalities. You know, if the camera doesn't find you, you're not gonna be able to even show that you're not a shy girl.
Well,
or you know, sometimes that works. You know, but
it's a good thing that you said that because, well, this week recently HK Tingo was shown up, so that's back, and they had to audition for HK Tingo, basically. And they had to do some Orai stuff with Sashi providing that and a few judges being very stern. But if I look at the group who's now true and on our HK Tingo, it's gonna be fun again. It's gonna be like that other show they had, HKT Hakata Hakaten or something like that. Hyakata Katen. It's when HKT first started and you had all those funny members in the side. Those members are now there again. And you will have the crazy, you know, hopefully they'll bring that resident back because I really miss that show. And so far, I think HK Tingo has that prominent role in there. I don't want to go like AK Bingo style, but really their own style. It just named HK Tingo.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So look forward to that. But this is interesting what you said, and let's go then into our next segment. Thanks to Paul from Sweden, who suggested this, and thank you again, Paul, for your generous donation on our Patreon. So we're going to talk about the variety girls of the AKB48 group. And you just mentioned Tani Marika, and she had like, what year was that, 2015? 2016? Where she had a prominent role with Kautan.
Oh, yeah, they did 2 seasons of that. I forgot when it was. It was with the SKE shows.
Ebby show.
Yeah, it was
SKE Ebby.
Yeah,
Ebby Friday.
Shows.
Yeah. So Ebby show, Ebby Friday, stuff like that. They had them 2 pair up and did their own segments, and they were very interesting, very funny, very real. And what it got them was a like Senbatsu. What was it, Senbatsu? The Tanya, or no? Tanya only was in the preliminaries that she was high, right?
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about? For Sasenkyo? No, she ranked like she was one of the first girls, I think, in Sasenkyo to ever rank as deep as she did. She was in like the 20s. When she ranked, and it was insane. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, that was Tani was on like a peak.
Yeah.
That was her peak year." She's been on decline ever since, of course. But so that was 3 Sasenkyos ago. That was three years ago.
Yes, she had a very good year because she also was the one of the most overreacting members with that top 10 list when they were in a room with Nishinomiki and Kachibaki Yuki doing that pirate game they do. And just to see, and that's why, well, Derek, you know a lot more than I about Tani Marika. So just tell me a little bit, why is she then so prominent? What is her variety skills, and why is it so important, basically, even though it's not compared to the singing and the other performances of the idol part?
Yeah, right. Well, you know, the easily by far, the biggest thing is Tani is insane. She doesn't, like, there's something wrong with her, like, mentally, I think, like, the screws loose. I like, she seems like a very shy girl, not somebody that would, like, be somebody you would think would talk. But then when you get her talking, she goes all over. Like, it's like, picture talking to somebody who has a really bad case of attention deficit disorder. And the thing with her is, like, the big appeal, I think, came when she was doing the radio show, and she was on the radio, and she would harass, like, an insane amount of the girls that come on there. They couldn't even get a word in because she would constantly hit them. And she has a couple of charm points. One is she has a helium voice. She does like a helium voice hysterical
Yeah,
because she actually wants to be a Seiyu. And so that's like part of like I think like her dream, and so she does the helium voice really well. She references herself a lot, which is like she talks about Tanimarika this, Tanimarika that, which is always funny to hear. And it's not necessarily like a Japanese language thing there, because sometimes Japanese girls and guys will reference themselves, and they're not doing it to be like weird. It's just the way the language is. But she does it in a funny way. Like it's like, you know, she knows she's crazy. She's very dirty. She is AKB's dirtiest idol.
Yeah.
Not something she's proud of, and she's very embarrassed about. But that embarrassment's adorable. They did, you know, a special with her room, and it was it was so bad it was funny.
Yeah.
She just, I mean, she had like mold growing in orange juice. I don't even know how is that even possible? It was like she's just insane, and like she also she's very like when you get her talking and she feels really comfortable, like she controls the whole conversation, because she'll just keep coming up with stuff. She'll keep like attacking you with like, I love you, do you love Tani, do you love Tani Marika, tell me you love Tani Marika, and then when you do, she gets all crazy, and then she'll try to like touch you and like kiss you, and like as the, you know, if you're an AKB girl that like doesn't like that, it gets like real weird. Like it got weird with I want to say Shibata Aya one time, like cause Shibata, like Tani really loved her, and Shibata just wasn't having it. And so Tani was like, she just had a field day with that girl, just totally egging her on to the point where Shibata, I think, was even getting upset. And Reina also, the big thing with Tani was crowned by Reina, like as kind of like her Oshi in a way. Like Reina Matsui, before she left, really started to love Tani. Tani really started to love Reina, and like Tani just harassed the crap out of Reina. And this is like, we're talking Kohai Senpai relationship was disregarded. That's like a big no-no, but Tani was allowed because she was so hysterical. It's like her and Shiori are the same, you know, in that sense. They can get away with doing things normal Kohai Senpai you can't do if you're a Kohai. But Reina, like, she couldn't, like, you can't escape Tani. She's a vortex. Once you get sucked in, she just keeps going and going, and she doesn't know when to stop the filter. And she'll just keep making all these weird voices. It's just, there's so much to love about this girl.
Yeah, I'm thinking more and more about it, and maybe that is a reason that her role is always more of a background or a secondary character, because she's always in pairs. She always needs someone by her side. You know, like you said, Shibataya, but Dasu is one of them. That's also very close to her, and Matsuya Reina, Chiori, going on like that. It does always feel like there's someone pairing up, so she can thrive on that. But at the one moment, if she's alone, she has no one to play off with. So is that maybe a feeling why her, you know, her status, it should be higher but isn't?
That's very possible.
Yeah, I would say, sorry, Colin. I was gonna say, I would just say, Tani is, I think, less screen time, because I think the Dirty Idol thing might have actually hurt her with Japanese fans, because think about it, Japanese people tend to be, I think, on average, as a generalization, pretty, they're very
clean.
Cleanliness is godliness to them, and so that could have hurt her with the Japanese fans. But I think it really comes down to this: she overwhelms. You can't put her on the screen with anyone, because she makes their light that much dimmer, and because once she gets going, it becomes the Tani Marika show. I mean, you just can't. And same with Kaotan. That's why they put Kaotan and Tani together, because it's like two major personalities that take over any situation. Look at Kaotan on the Ebi Chill series or whatever, with what's her name, the one MC they had, the older woman who's like really funny.
Oh, now I forget the name.
I can't believe I'm forgetting her name, because I love her so much.
Okubo, yeah. Okubo Sensei.
Look at Kaotan with her. It became every episode there was a harassment joke with Kaotan and her.
Oh yeah.
It got crazy. Like there's even physical connection. Like, you know, so it's like that's what Kaotan does. But Tani's a master at it. But Tani's humble too. Tani knows to stay in the back. Like with Kaotan when they were doing the duo, because Kaotan's her senpai, or in a sense, she deferred to her. And like when Kaotan was having like mood swings and stuff on that show, Tani wasn't as funny because she was afraid. It was like humbling to her. So if you let Tani go and you prop her up and give her a little bit, it's over. It becomes her show. So of course the people, they don't want that. I bet you they've had complaints where the senpais were like, "Can you please put her in the background? She's like that wild child that won't shut up," you know. So and I think that hurt her over time. Now she didn't get picked for singles now, and it's just I don't know. I think her time's coming up, unfortunately, on AKB. So
if you look at it that way, the one who did that role perfectly then was Oshima Yuko on that side. No,
yes.
she was the variety queen as well, just the style in there. She has a complete different voice, as always out there, always a center point, never a chance to miss in the spotlight. But then if you look at her singing career, she also has this amazing, beautiful voice, but it's like a different person when she is in there. If you hear her sing, and then hear her talk, it's like two different sides. It depends on what show she is. Then you just hear her go completely nuts on countless times on AK Bingo. Just remember when they were, in that the famous scene where they were trying to rank themselves on what karaoke level are you, and they beat a other idol band, and she was just started crying. She was so happy and just going crazy on that side. Remember those moments. I think if Tani could find that balance in that as well, she could become higher, but it's very hard. There's no one like Oshima Yuko to be like that style as well.
Well, two things in that regard. One is, Tani was recently like kind of center for a single B-side or whatever coupling, and I thought she did a tremendous job. I mean, she has a nice voice. Again, it's the second thing I would say is, I know she can do it. Again, it's being given the opportunity, but I'm gonna say something that might be weird to say on this show, but just hear me out. Marilyn Manson wrote a book a long time ago, and I read that book, and he said something in that I've never forgotten, and it's very true. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but he said, if you want to be treated like a star, you position yourself to be treated like a star. In other words, for example, in his group, when he was first starting out with Marilyn Manson, they were playing local shows in Florida, which is where, he had started his career. Even though he's from Ohio, he went to Florida. It's like death metal country. And Marilyn Manson's not death metal. I'm just saying that as a point of reference. It's a very metal scene down there. At least it was back when he was doing it. But he would be like, okay, if we're playing a show, we're headlining the show. There's just no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I did that from a second story window. Not in an egotistical way. It was more like, I want us to be positioned as perceived as big, even though we weren't. But I like wanted that perception, and it worked. It worked. We headlined how many tours? I think also because I think we had some talent, and I think people really responded to that. But if you position yourself like that, you're going to be treated like that. Tani doesn't position herself like that. She doesn't go to bat for herself, whereas Yuko does. Yuko always was going to bat for herself. I think even Yuko, didn't even Yuko have a manager? I mean, it's like Yuko was like a business. And then once she like kind of stepped out, and keep in mind, she was like right at the beginning of AKB when all those girls were getting massive attention. There was so much focus in spotlight because there were so little of them compared to how many there are now. You could easily focus. Yuko stood for that reason. She was funny, like you said. She could sing really good, but she also aggressively promoted herself. She wasn't. She did the humble thing good, but I think when she knew she had to, she wasn't. She knew she was a star. And once you get that star perception, it's like a viral video. Once it goes viral, it's viral. So she had that. Her and Aitan had it. That's why Takamina didn't become the center for every single song, because Aitan all of a sudden was like a viral video in the AKB world. Yuko was right after. Tani was viral for like a half a year, which led her to have that huge ranking to Sankyo. And then she wasn't a viral video anymore because she didn't aggressively keep going. She didn't do something else in the spotlight. See my point?
She was more humble, appreciative on that side, and she was thankful for it, but she didn't take the ball and run with it. And again, what you said with Takamina, she's also like a very good variety girl, but her focus was more on the group instead of herself. So she didn't push herself, she wanted to push the group. Going in there. Did work though. She was always the butt of jokes for others. So basically, she sacrificed herself to let others make a joke so they get the spotlight, get more recognition, more prominence. And she was like, oh yeah, yes, I'm the joke one, just blame it on me and I'll give the funny reactions so it's a good hit. I think that actually nailed it on the head right there, Derek, what you said. It's like, if it's not like being arrogant or anything, it's just like, you know what, it's hard to say this because it does sound arrogant, but I I understand what you mean. It's like you want to be a star, then act like a star. Instead of
look at the Korean girls. Look at all those Korean girls. Look at what they're saying. They want to be the top. Like they're not happy with third place or second. They want to be freaking first. And you got to have that cutthroat personality. But in Japan, that's not necessarily rewarded. Humility and being like getting to the front without pushing like a barrel through it to the line to get to the front. That's how you get to the front in Japan. With some girls like Yuko, she became viral, she kept continuing to be viral in that sense. It was easier for her to make that because she was very aggressive about herself. Whereas you take someone like Tani or Takamina, they were more interested. Well, in Takamina's case, like you said, more interested in the group. Tani, she was just like, deferred to her senpai, and she's a little more humble. So that hurt her, I think. But I think like, you look at some of these girls that have that aggressive personality. They say, oh, I'm going to be a star. Then they do everything they can to be a star. Then they'll be a star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look at Sashi. This is also an example. I think.
Oh, perfect example. Perfect example.
It's not like she's been arrogant that she started, but she puts in so much work, and she wants to be the center point. Just showing that, and also the interesting, she's putting in work, so she knows she's a star, not because like default. She's like, I'm doing so much effort, and I will show you why I am a star. She already has that mindset, and that's why she's pushing herself, and that's why she's on that top level, I would say. But again, Sashi is also a variety girl. She does anything she wants just for the attention, I would say. Not like an attention, you know what?
Yeah.
But more just saying, it's like she'll do anything. It's like it's fine. If it's funny, then I'll do it. That's the idea, and that's basically how you get yourself over. It's more, keep yourself interesting, but know that you are interesting. If you have a fact like, yeah, I'm just doing it because, I don't know, for some reason. If you have the mindset like, people want to see me, I know they want to see this, that's I get what you say. It's not arrogant, it's a pretty good mindset to have. It's like, just confidence. I think have confidence of being in a star, I would say.
That's what it is.
Go ahead,
I would also say a bit of self-awareness. They are aware of what they're capable of, and they know, like Yuko and Sashi and even Takamina, they knew what to do to get a moment. Like I remember, I believe it was Lucky Girl ranking. There was a rank, I forgot which one, but I remember Yuko and Takamina. Like they sit on those benches, and they would get out of those benches. And I remember Takamina saying, "Nani kore, nani kore," a big reaction. If they would like sit here, but Takamina had like this big, huge reaction, which made her. She knows she could do that, and we would be at that point. We would know that she would do that. That was not something weird about her. She would take the stage. She knows she could do it. She had a unique voice, I would say, and she would just take the moment, like make a big reaction, so the camera would go to her. Because if a camera sees two reactions, a big, huge one like Takamina, or a very small, just more facial expressions like Megu or Sena with their stares, with their eyes, they would go to Takamina, because Takamina would take the stage. Like confidence, self-awareness, like they know what to do. Sashi knows that too, Yuko knows that too. They know what they need to do in any current situation. They know what to say, what to how to behave. They know how it all works, and they use that to their advantage.
Yes, Colin, that's such a good point, because here's the thing, like you look at the Golden Gen, right? And they did everything they had to do to make AKB big. Like Takamina with her big reactions, Yuko with her crazy oddball stuff, Tomachin with her, when it came time to make fun of Tomachin's duck lips, she didn't shy away. She embraced it. Like every girl did what they had to do. And I mean, like, just big reactions all around. And they were fun, too. They were just genuinely hysterical. Like, those girls were all super funny. But getting back to Sashi, though, because I want to bring what you said, Colin, into this. Look at Sashi, okay? She put out a book called Gyaku Tenryoku a couple years ago, which means the power to turn the tide. It's all about this. It's all about taking the freaking charge and taking what you love and making it what you are. And some of these girls in AKB, when you have 400 members, limited as heck camera time, very few opportunities, Gyakutenryoku is a distant memory for a lot of them. They can't. It's a memory that they had after reading Sashi's book and wishing they could do that. And Sashi embraced that a long time ago. After she had her scandal, she built herself up from literally nothing.
Yeah.
And she realized, no, I'm not gonna let this take me. I'm gonna turn the tide. And she was driven by such a deep internal force that it's the same reason why Minagishi Minami's still around. Mina should have probably said goodbye after the shaved head debacle, but she didn't. She was part of that same Golden Gen fabric that Sashi and Yuko and even Yukira, all of them were made from, that will do anything necessary to survive attitude, both personally and for the group. They had that for how many years? It's lost now in AKB because everything's handed to them. They're AKB. Yeah. They have a brand.
They don't know hardship. They don't know hardship.
They don't. I mean,
some, they do, but not as much as used. Yeah.
No, I mean, when you're outside passing out flyers in the middle of December, you get 6 people to come up to your little 8th floor theater at the the top of the Donkey, in Akihabara. I'd say that's a little bit of a struggle, especially when you're playing and no one's there and you're in tears. You want to leave, and many of them did, but you stuck it out. Then you get on AK Bingo and you just let your personality soar because you have good variety hosts in the Bad Boys that knew how to bring it out of you, and they gave it just as much as they got it.
That's true.
It was like look at all the Shotoki Shogis. Look at those personalities, and they were willing to do anything. Sashi was willing to pretty much go butt naked in a gravure photo book to basically buy stuff. She was willing to talk about drinking certain juices or milk or whatever to get bigger breasts. I mean, look at Mariko with all the crazy. I mean, when she got a moment with the fake air ocarina, she did it every chance she could because that made you remember her. Like, all these girls knew how to seize opportunity. Now there's 400-something girls in AKB's extended family. How do you stand out? And Tani has a real great way to stand out, but she stands out so much, they're like, oh, wait a minute. We're going to ignore all the 10 other girls in SK's team or whatever that don't have these bigger-than-life personalities. So, Tani, here, can you go to the side a little? We're going to give the time to the other girls. Well, guess what? It's been like a permanent freaking timeout for this girl. And she hasn't pulled a Yuko. In fact, I'm glad you said that. Robin, Colin, don't you think Tani needs a Yuko to guide her back into the spotlight? And if so, who do you think in the current AKB lineup could be that Yuko for her?
Like, you mean a double act?
Yeah, a senpai, somebody who could pull a Rina Matsui, because Rina was doing it there, but a little too late because Rina was on her way out right as she discovered the joy of Tani Marika. So who now could take her back into the spotlight and pull her in that could have enough power that she could influence everybody to pay attention to Tani?
When you say something like that, I think of Laurel and Hardy, two complete opposite personalities, or even what's the guy named Gaucho Marx, two different types of personalities. Like one, the extrovert that can give the funny lines, has the great timing, and then the other one who knows how to steer them in a certain directions without being funny themselves, but allowing them to be more funny. Yeah. Who would that be?
Sashi.
Who would it?
That's just the first one I'm always thinking about.
Sashi, no. Really? Why? Tell me why. Because of the HKT connection?
They still have the connection in there, and basically Sashi founded Tani and being more prominent in there. She founded Chiori and Tani being like HKT. Okay, you two are high school friends as well. So what do you have? Oh, we have this bit, and that's how it started for Tani.
That's right. That's way back in the day with HKT's variety stuff. Sashi would be good, yeah. And I wish she would crown Tani with the blessing of Sashi giving it to her,
Do you
That'd
think
be great.
It would be a good idea to send Tani back to HKT?
I've been wanting that for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yes. No offense to SK. I love me some SK. Great, but you already have Kaotan. You already have Dasu. You have more than enough variety. HKT, not saying they don't have it, but she really thrived in HKT. How many times did she troll Sakura-tan? On Odakake? How many times did Sakura was like, what is wrong with this girl? And it was funny. It was hysterical because then Goto-san and Sashi were like, what's wrong with Tani? And it worked. How many times did Tani get the pin, the variety? I mean, it's because Sakura could not deal with her. even though they're friends. But it was like, how many times Sakura would roll her eyes, like, what the heck is going on? It just worked because Sashi was like, or Tani was like, let loose. It was like a dog in a cage full of rabbits, just running around trying to chase them. Like, it was just amazing. So Sashi would be good. Is there another one though you were thinking? Because I have somebody in mind, but I'm curious. I didn't even think of Sashi. That makes total sense. She'd definitely be number 1. But who would be number 2?
Let's see. In SKE.
For my
in SKE is
anywhere.
Oh, but Mina, I would say in
Minoru, interesting.
And NMB48.
Variety and NMB.
No, it's different. I think because they have the Osaka style in there, and it doesn't work on that. How about Yamada Noe and Tani Marika?
Oh God.
Would that be just too much? Like I think the only person that Tani Marika would be like, okay, time to slow down, would be Yamada Noe. Then normally the role is always like you have, like with Kaotan. Kaotan was also a bit crazy, but compared to Tani was a lot higher. But I think if you put Yamada Noe to Tani would be like, okay, time to calm down a bit. She will be the sane one compared to the insane version. Oh, AKB48 then. It's very hard, this, actually.
Actually, that one I thought would be easy for you because it's Hiroshi.
It's...
Okada Nana?
Can you imagine Nata with Tani? It'd be funny. Majime and crazy. It'd be too funny.
I would be like, oh man. I'm just imagining Nachan's style with Tani Marika, and I think Nachan will only just be like, okay, just nodding yes, and other than that, nothing just comes out of it. I don't think Nachan has anything to handle Tani. She will be laughing, but not. No. Yeah, Colin, go ahead.
Hiwatashi Yui.
He's not even here for a while, but why do you say that?
Because I go back to the different personalities. I think someone who is more quiet would work with someone like Tani. Tani who is more out there, and I think that someone like Hiwatashi Yui who is more silent and quiet would work better if she would steer her in the right direction, like working off of each other.
Interesting.
Maybe that could work, but that depends on what you want. Do you want two same personalities that strengthen each other, or two different personalities where one strengthens the other more? It depends on what you want.
I was looking more for a more famous girl, more girls in the spotlight now to let that spotlight shine on Tani in that sense. So for me, I had 2 in mind. NGT, I was thinking Katamina, because I think Katamina is very intelligent and she would know how to handle Tani. I think Katamina would also be. She also is kind of funny, but I think Katamina would be a really good person to like promote Tani. I think very well. But the real one I thought, and it's gonna surprise you guys, I think Shiroma Miru. That might sound really off, but hear me out. Shiroma's got the beauty. But here's the thing. There's this like real like sharp as a nail side to Shiroma, and she lets it out every once in a while. But I think because Shiroma has so much exposure and fan base, Tani could really bring out that kind of sharpness a little more. Like basically Tani would annoy her probably to no end. And then we get to see Shiroma be like extra sharp, and I think it would be so hysterical to see that dichotomy between Shiroma's sharpness and Tani just being this like annoying like puppy to her. But then it would work because Shiroma at the end would probably like love and embrace her, because it would be the same dynamic I think that Reina had with Tani initially. Reina I think was not necessarily annoyed, but like, what is this girl? Like, this girl's nuts. I don't know how to deal with her. But Reina eventually like treated her like a cute little pet. I think Shiroma would make Tani a pet, and I think that's why it would work.
I agree. It's not a weird decision. The moment you said the name, I was exactly thinking like that, because she has the beauty. She is quite sharp. I can see that happening. I want to see that.
Me too. It'd be so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
So I guess if you're listening, make it happen.
Oh, we know they are.
Do a segment.
Oh, yeah. just throw me a little bit of money on the side. Let me get some, free handshakes out of it or something. So, I'll accept that as payment.
All right. Well, that was a very good side on the variety side. So again, thank you, Paul from Sweden, for this suggesting talk for our show.
Yeah.
Let's go then to our plugs and recommendations for next week.
Oh, we don't want to talk about Nogisaga 46? Because I fear that Dava, he wants to hear us. He wants to hear us talk about it.
Okay, well, we can do it a little short while because, okay, so Nogisaga 46 21st single?
Yeah.
Yeah, MV came out, and it's a summer single.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Saito Asuka had a very good song there with Summer, and that was last year, 2 years ago. That was a very good one. No, that was a very good Nogisaga 46 song. I listened to that actually daily almost. This one, however, it feels forced. It really feels like, okay, we need a summer single. We want another hit like the last summer song. Let's just put Asuka in the center with Shiroma, Shirai Shimai and Nishino in there, and being the supportive. And there's nothing new or fresh about it. It feels like, okay, just put on some summery clothes. You're in another country. Enjoy. At the end, there's another fireworks. Like a summer festival. And the song itself, it really feels like a blatant song. I hear some like effects like Sukinanda style like that.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, and the chorus.
And it doesn't stick. It doesn't feel like this is a very good song. And Nogi was on a pretty good track record. I think this one really falls flat on that side. Basically, that's it. Those are my opinions on the Nogisaga single.
Good. Well said. I'll take your word.
Yeah, I agree. The chorus, it reminded me of Sukinanda. There's one part, I think Derek would agree with us when he hears it. There's one part I was like, Sukinanda? Because I was getting those vibes. So that wasn't that good. The chorus didn't really hook me. It was nice.
It's a lot of moments when they zoom in on the faces. There are a few moments when they do the choreography, but not much. It's just like, now they're at this location, now they're at this location. Oh, look, food and festival and a boat and fireworks and yay, summer.
Yeah, it's like, come on, like you're kind of pushing the point home a little too much there, maybe. I would say though, like the music producers and the AKB48 families, they're rather incestuous in the sense that they all kind of share these ideas a lot, and they spread them out over the groups. I don't think that's a good thing. I think each one should really carve out the identities, and the reason why is there are so many freaking talented musicians in Japan. Heck, if you don't even want to go to Japan, go to Korea. Obviously, those people know how to write songs, and or anywhere in the world for that matter. Or come to the Chica world. You want to talk about great, innovative music being done on a daily? Go there and steal. I mean, I forget who said it, but what is it like something like good artists copy, but great artists steal. And Steve Jobs said that, and it's like, or at least he was eating somebody when he was saying that, but it's true, and it's okay. There's no shame in it. Like, I'd rather hear AKB do a total ripoff, let's say, of like Cyber's any of their songs versus the garbage they're putting out now. That's like, it's just literally a rehash of a rehash of a rehash at this point of what they put out in the past. Not only that, but like you said, like if you're hearing Sukinanda in a Nogi song, boy, that should never be mentioned or uttered. It should be Nogi has their own sound. That kind of makes me worried about Kea. What do we think about Kea's new thing coming out? Or have we heard anything? Do we know anything? Because that's a little scary.
The release date is the 17th of August.
Oh, so we still have a little bit of time.
So they didn't announce the Senbatsu yet. They just announced the date when the new single is coming out. So we probably see a Senbatsu lineup soon. Probably Tachi.
Probably Tachi. Yeah. Well, I'm okay with that. Welcome back. I'm glad to see the Dark Queen back. But I would say this, we got, in my opinion, one of the best AKB48 songs in recent years through NGT's second single that came out, in December or something of, 2 years ago, year ago? So that was an impressive, last-minute holdout of, will we even have a good song this year? And then we got one of the best songs they've put out in years, in my opinion. Fukuwan, one of the greatest songs of all time, in my opinion, in the idol world. I'm kind of really hoping Kea saves us, at least as far as this year is gone. I'm kind of hoping this summer single will be like the single to end all singles, because you never know. That single could literally be right around the corner. Fukuan was it. It's going to be hard to top that for any of these groups. But I would say if anybody can do it, it's Kea. They can top themselves. Because AKB did it for how many years? They topped themselves over and over and over again. Just when you thought nothing could get better than Ogoe Diamond, what comes out, you know? Or Heavy Rotation came out, and you're like, oh, nothing can beat that. Koisero Fortune Cookie comes out, and that blows everything away. I mean, it's just endless how much they did that. So hopefully Kea will come out with something at the end of the summer that will just make us all go, all is right in the AKB48 world. Like, we're lucky. The AKB family, the extended family, they put out something worth our time, you know. Let's hope, because Nogi, that's scary when you say this. That makes you think, uh-oh, play the dome. I guess they don't need their fans anymore if they're putting out stuff that isn't Nogi.
All right, so let's do our plugs. I would say, of course, go to our Patreon at 48 Talk, and if you want some extra vibes there, a lot on Produce48, you can check out there. If you want a shout out, just, you know, donate $1 and that's also fine. Just check it out, and who knows, we'll see that in the future. Derek, you have a few things, I would say.
Yeah, I can go last if you guys want to go, because mine's a little long. So,
Colin, do you have anything you want to plug?
AK Bingo, the recent episode featured Mayoshi after September last year. As they watch it, they are doing a bit of acting, and she between 4 girls, she was the best possible morning drama actress, and I was very happy. She did very well. She was very shy, but she did very well.
And who is your Oshi, just for people that are watching?
Sasaki Yukari. She was. Yeah, if you watch the episode on Good Enough English Sub, you see my comment and being very happy.
Awesome.
She, I started to cry again, because she always does that to me, because she did very well, and I was very happy to see her back. She looked beautiful. She did very, very well. I hope she did very well. She did better than like Yokoyama Yui and some other girls. I forgot the names. Sorry, but she did. I was very happy. So watch that. There's another episode.
Easy to forget those names. They're easy to forget those names when your Oshi's shining so bright.
Yeah,
you know?
I forgot. I was only paying. No, I was paying attention to everyone, but she won, so I was very happy.
Yay! I'm so happy.
I'm happy.
She deserves it, man. She deserves it.
You have doing very good. She's doing. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm a bit laggy on my part, but she's doing a lot of theater, and I'm very happy with that. She's doing very well.
Awesome.
Okay, go ahead, Derek.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, yeah, of course, Eats Meets West Fest, less than a month away. Really scary to even say that. August 18th, 19th in Anaheim at the Chain Reaction. 2 days of Idols meets American groups. First day, Abigail Williams is co-headlining with Necro no Idol, the group that I currently work for here in Japan, and as well as Yanakoto Sotomuto. They're co-headlining Hanako-san, 14th Generation of the Toilet, the demon girl from hell, basically. She will be there. Tonight, just as a funny aside, she was at a show and she dumped rotten natto on somebody, and the entire venue smelled like rotten natto for the rest of the show, and people were not happy, but it's just, oh well, it's Hanako. You just have to deal. So who knows what she will do in America, but the Chain Reaction, they're playing ball. They're letting her do whatever she wants. So much props to the Chain Reaction. Actually, much props in general to the Chain Reaction. Go to shows if you can there. They've been nothing but wonderful to work with so far, and they're just good people, good staff. But that first day is basically going to be them. And then, of course, like Wolf King from San Francisco, Phoenix Ash, San Francisco name. And then, yeah, we have a really solid lineup. With the first day, second day is Necro no Idol, Yanako Tsumito, Hanako-san, and then Paprika Marie and Ferry. Ferry's like kind of a duo idol group here, and or not here, but in Los Angeles. Paprika Marie's also from Los Angeles, Japanese American, very awesome, born in Japan, I think. So we still have plenty of tickets left. In fact, maybe too many. Not, sounding the alarm, but I really need people to start buying tickets. The pre-orders have been not where I want them to be, Also, I'm still 6K short of my goal. I need $6,000 to be breaking even. Little scary that it's less than a month and I'm not at that number yet. I can still get it through just general ticket sales, but I was kind of hoping to be at break even before the show even opens the doors, because then this way everything's profit after that point. And then that helps me put all that money towards what I'm doing next, which will be announced actually at East Meets West. We're gonna have major announcements that time of what's next. But yeah, that's very important. You can get tickets at Eventbrite or through East Meets West Music Fest Facebook page or Twitter here. You know, it's, if you need a ticket, just message me too. Like if you know, there's regular tickets, there's VIP starting at 100, 250, 500,000. We're actually going to be closing our deadline on that soon. August. Well, it's not, you can get tickets up to the day of the show. Any, doesn't matter if VIP or not. But if you want the VIP perks to be given to you the day of the show, August 6th is our last day for that. And then if you order a VIP ticket after that, you'll get the perks if it's over 100. If you start at 250, you'll get those perks September, where we'll just have when we get back from Japan. So just because we need time to make them all, because they're all personal. So I hope people understand that. Also, biggest plug I have, Paul from Sweden has been very helpful in helping me with some certain things. And one of the things we've decided to do is create little Necronomidal amulets. They're like necklaces you can wear. They have the Necronomidal logo on it. It's like the white leafy thing. And basically, I'm going to be putting this on my Patreon page, but basically the next 6 people to buy a VIP ticket of any kind, the next 6 will get one of those amulets. Paul will mail it out. So I'm encouraging everybody that sees this video to be one of those next 6. And even if you do the $100, that's fine. That helps. But if you can go a little higher, please do, because it's going to help me chip away at that 6K. Again, if you can't, whatever, I don't care. I just want you to come, and then please bring a friend. Bring 2-3 friends. Bring your whole family. Bring, you know, your school. Bring everybody. I want to sell the Chain Reaction out. Chain Reaction is 250 capacity. We can do it. Okay, I know we can. It's Los Angeles, for crying out loud. So please do that. And the next 6 people that see this video, because I'm making the announcement here first, because I love 48 Talk. The next 6 people, you'll get an amulet, but you got to be the next 6. So please, please, please order now, because I'm sure they'll go fast if I'm lucky. Okay, so that's my plug. Thank you.
Very good, very good. With that though, I would say this was this week's episode of 48 Talk. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.